If you perform lymphatic drainage on your clients, or if you've had drainage sessions and never quite got the results you were expecting, this video is for you. There's one protocol error that happens in the majority of sessions, and it has nothing to do with technique, pressure, or how long the session lasts. It has everything to do with sequence. I'm going to show you exactly what it is, why it happens, and how to fix it, from a physiology standpoint. Scientific foundation. How the lymphatic system actually works. Before we get to the mistake, let's make sure we're working from the same foundation, because most of the time, the error comes from a misunderstanding of how lymph actually moves. Content. The lymphatic system has no pump of its own. It depends entirely on external pressure and muscular movement. Lymph travels in one direction, from peripheral tissues toward regional lymph nodes, then through collectors toward the thoracic duct. Lymph nodes are the active filters. They must be activated before you work distal tissue. Lymphatic flow is 2 to 11 times slower than venous flow. Wrong direction or wrong sequence creates resistance, not drainage. The mistake. Chapter title. The most common mistake, and why it cancels everything. The most common mistake in lymphatic drainage is starting at the peripheral areas before opening the proximal lymph nodes. Explanation. Most popular protocols jump straight to the complaint area. Swollen ankles, postpartum abdomen, puffy face. What this does? Pushes lymphatic fluid toward a pathway that's still closed. The axillary, inguinal, and cervical nodes haven't been prepared to receive that volume. The result? Lymph doesn't drain. It redistributes within the interstitium. The client might feel immediate relief, a superficial mechanical effect, but the result doesn't hold. Within days, the swelling comes back the same or worse. It's like trying to drain a bathtub without opening the drain. You can move the water all you want. It has nowhere to go. The correct sequence. Chapter title. The sequence that actually works. Correct protocol. Mandatory order. Central opening. Lymphatic heart gentle maneuvers at the neck and clavicle to activate the thoracic duct. Proximal node activation. Axillary nodes, upper body and trunk. Inguinal nodes, lower body and abdomen. Intermediate segments. Thigh, arm, trunk. Periphery last. Ankle, foot, hand, peripheral face. This isn't a school opinion. It's documented in Vodder, Leduc, and every serious physiotherapy protocol for lymphedema management. Sequence matters more than pressure, more than session duration, more than any device. For practitioners, note that in post-lipo or post-abdominoplasty cases, inguinal lymph nodes may be compromised by surgical edema. In those cases, sequence must be adapted with compensatory cervical and thoracic opening first. What science hasn't settled? What's still under debate? Ideal pressure is still debated. Original Vodder technique recommends extremely light pressure, 30 to 40 millimeters of mercury, but recent studies on secondary lymphedema test moderate pressure with comparable results. Ideal session frequency for maintenance versus active lymphedema treatment, no standardized clinical consensus. Manual lymphatic drainage versus pneumatic compression therapy. Relative effectiveness by condition. Literature still heterogeneous. This doesn't invalidate the method. It means practitioners need to think clinically, not just follow a recipe. Practical application. For practitioners, review your protocol. Are you opening proximal nodes in the first 5 minutes? If your client says, the swelling comes back within 2 days, the most likely cause isn't your hand technique, it's the sequence. Compression therapy devices can complement but can't replace manual proximal node activation. For clients, if you get drainage regularly and results don't last, ask your practitioner about their sequencing protocol. Well-performed drainage should last 3 to 5 days for moderate fluid retention. If it doesn't, it's worth asking. To wrap up, the most common mistake in lymphatic drainage isn't too much pressure or too little. It's the wrong order. A lymphatic system without proximal opening is a system with no exit. You can have the best peripheral technique in the world. If the central pathway isn't open, results won't come. On-screen checklist. White heavy check mark. Did you open neck/clavicle first? White heavy check mark. Did you activate axillary nodes before working the trunk? White heavy check mark. Did you activate inguinal nodes before lower limbs? White heavy check mark. Did periphery come last? For practitioners, if you want to go deeper on post-op drainage protocols, post-lipo, abdominoplasty, secondary lymphedema, I put together a complete clinical reference with detailed sequences. Link is in the description. For clients, if this helped you understand why drainage might not be working the way it should, share it with someone who gets regular sessions. And tell me in the comments, have you ever noticed the results wearing off too fast?